So no trade today, but let's go over it. So again, starting on the monthly and weekly, we tap this gap, you know. We manipulate up after tapping that. Hang on, I wanted to see if there's a way to make my microphone louder. I'll look into that, whatever. Okay, so yeah, we tap this gap, war, sell off, all of a sudden everything's better, we're gonna go buy up to all-time highs again, right? Yeah, okay. 4 hour. So we had a 4 hour gap right here overnight, and then we end up not tapping it on NASDAQ, but we do tap it on ES. And NASDAQ is in this gap right here. We also have this unmitigated gap right there. And then, so really ES wanted to go higher, even though it was a bit lower. I think that's what was pulling us up to this daily high right up here, which already took on NASDAQ. I was really looking for shorts to the 4 hour gap, but there was no signs of that happening. Off open, we come up. I'm kind of waiting for us to start coming down, but there were no signs of that. We just wanted to continue up. With everything being so bullish, you really can't be predicting in times like this. You have to just react to what the market is giving you, and it is giving us signs that we just want to continue up and up and up and up. So, uh, there's like not even retraces for real. Like we're just going up. It's not the quickest. That's what sketched me out a bit. We weren't moving up with crazy volume while we were just ripping up with no hesitation. It just wasn't fast. There was no good volume. So I was kind of sketched out about, okay, if I entered here, I feel like a big candle might just come and stop me out. The only trade I did kind of like was at 11:15 a.m. We get this little retrace, we inverse that to the next 4 hour gap because I felt like there's enough evidence to show that if we were going to react to the gap we were in, we would have done so. ES is still pulling us higher, so we got two reasons already. And then we finally get this, and if we were going to go lower here, we would not inverse this gap. This gap would hold. So this is the only trade I think I would have taken for like that. I don't know where I put my stop, maybe there. But, yeah, no trade for me today. That's what's going on. But yeah, I definitely think that we need some sort of retrace soon. Um, I feel like we're gonna start chopping again, but you can only take what they give you. You can't really predict that. I do really feel like we might like come up, retrace a little, chop, 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 and then go up more. But we'll see what happens. We got all-time highs up here. We're ripping up. We might be back. Once we're at all-time high, I don't know. Dude, I don't like all-time high, bro. I prefer to trade this area right here, and this area right here, and this stuff. Not all-time highs. I don't know, dude. I don't like it. I feel because that all-time high is the only thing I'm confident in is longing to all-time highs, and I feel like a lot of the time during market open we edge that and then go to it later in the day. But we'll see you guys tomorrow. Actually, let's go over my notes and what I did. So for my notes today, no trade, blah, blah, blah. This is the entry I would have taken. But let's get into it. The reason for this trade would be we finally get somewhat of a retrace, even though it is after 11, after sweeping hives, slang for highs, and still being in a 4 hour gap. We still are just showing the signs that we want to continue higher, so I think I would have felt confident taking this to the next 4 hour gap. Nothing above that though, as we can reverse at any moment. Anything higher, I might get retraced on, kind of checked out. And then for Cole's insights, pretty much went over what I said and how I can improve. He said there is nothing showing that we want to go down. We just want to go up and up and up. We didn't even get so much as a bearish candle for a good minute and weren't retracing the gaps. We were still going up and up in the high time frame. Everything is just showing us that we want to continue going up. Oh, I should call me. Didn't trade today because I felt like we were due for a retrace. I think that there is enough evidence on us not wanting to go down that I should have been open to the idea of a long. I didn't like the fact that Nasdaq was in a high time frame gap, but it was very apparent we were just going to keep running through. So I think it was valid to take a trade to the next gap. But on the other hand, um, ES was not in a high time frame gap and was moving up more aggressively after tapping the 4-hour bullish gap. The only thing I didn't like is I felt like we were overextended, and due to us not ripping up quickly, that was another thing. The volume wasn't there. We were moving up, but it wasn't fast, you know? I was scared we might get a candle that just invalidates all of that. But looking back, I think that I might be wrong just because that's being predictory, and I don't want to predict. I need to react, and with everything the market was showing today, it just wanted to keep going up, you know? Like, if you're, like, I think I was getting in my head about that. But I do have no problem just sitting out today. It's whatever. It's fine. So, yeah, that's that. I'm assuming we kind of just rip up to all-time highs, not gonna lie. There's today or tomorrow. Maybe we'll get a retrace and then go, or we'll just rip up there and then have a big retrace. But I do, you know, whether you like it or not, I think that all the Warren stuff, it's very manipulating, but I do think that, like, he knows what he's doing. Like, I watched like a freaking 3-hour video on it. Basically, like, things are gonna be shitty and suck for a little bit, but once this all works out, if it works out, it will be good. It was like some Chinese professor going over how Trump is so stupid, he's a genius. And it makes sense. Just, it's like most people wouldn't do it because you have to tank for a while, you know? Gas prices are going to go up for a while, all this other shit, you know? But basically, we're going to be in control of oil. We're going to be in control of, I think it was like dirt or something like that. Not dirt, but like something in the, like nitrine, something like that. Some element starts with an N that is needed for growing crops will be like the sole supply for a lot of shit. Basically, just sending us crazy high. But yeah, so I mean, we'll see. Maybe some news will come out that will give us a retrace. I guess we're reading the news. Um, some people say like, "Oh, I don't like this." You know, everything's news. You can't predict it. Dude, look at it. The only thing the news is doing is making the candles bigger and faster, which anything is better. Still reacting off of this gap, you know, you can still read the damn chart. Mm. But yeah, that's all. I will catch y'all tomorrow if I make a video. Kind of fell off a bit, but you know, whatever. So, see you guys.